Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. At the Bródno Cemetery in Warsaw, the memory of the independence anti-communist underground soldiers has been commemorated, those whose bodies were placed in a mass grave in the cemetery in 1945 to 1956. For several years now, commemorations, with the assistance from the military, have brought together veterans, school students and reconstruction groups. Local associations are taking care with many dedications to memory of this place and the soldiers buried in mass graves.
We're standing in front of the monument to the lost and martyred soldiers of the independence anti-communist underground.
During the celebrations, prayers were said for the souls of the heroes, and delegations of associations, schools and reconstruction groups laid flowers and lit candles. They showed us what it means to be a good person. Some people chose a peaceful life, but they chose to fight for Polish freedom. And they never gave up. According to estimates, around 190 soldiers were buried at this cemetery. On Saturday, the Polish Ministry of Health announced over 12,000 new coronavirus infections and 303 COVID-related deaths in the country. The largest number of new infections was reported in the Mazowieckie, Śląskie, Pomorskie and Warmińsko-Mazurskie provinces. Nearly 3,270,000 Poles have already received the first dose of the coronavirus vaccine, and over 1,160,000 have received the second dose. On Saturday, Russians laid flowers at the site on a bridge near the Kremlin where in 2015 Russian opposition politician Boris Nemtsov was assassinated. The commemoration took place amid a clampdown on protests over the jailing of Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny. At the time of his killing on the night of February the 27th, 2015, Nemtsov, who briefly served as Deputy Prime Minister in the late 1990s before joining the opposition, had been working on a report examining Russia's role in the conflict in Ukraine. After his murder, opposition activists began guarding a makeshift memorial on the bridge after municipal authorities turned down a request to put up a plaque there in his honour. City workers have taken down the memorial on several occasions over the years. Police detained 8 people last week as they tried to lay flowers at the memorial after it was dismantled by police. The Russian regime is becoming more violent and it goes further away from the constitution. Our duty is to oppose this, and the fact that thousands of people will come here means that people remember Boris Nemtsov. People remember the crime and want an investigation. People want the government to obey its constitution. Allies of Navalny, who was jailed this month on parole violations he said were trumped up, have called on his supporters to lay flowers on the Moscow bridge where Nemtsov was gunned down. Navalny's allies have declared a moratorium on street protests until spring after several nationwide rallies were broken up by police, who detained more than 11,000 people, according to a monitoring group. But the opposition urged Muscovites to come to pay their respects to Nemtsov while observing social distancing and wearing medical masks. Moscow authorities turned down a request for them to hold a commemorative march due to the pandemic. In 2017, a court sentenced 5 men to between 11 and 20 years in prison for their involvement in Nemtsov's murder. But the late politician's allies said at the time that the people who had ordered his killing remained at large. Captain Tom Moore, the British World War II veteran who raised millions of pounds for health service workers on the front line of the battle against COVID-19, was bid farewell in a private service on February the 27th. Moore's hearse will be escorted by a military guard of honour, and a World War II-era plane will conduct a flypast during the service.
Moore died on February 2nd at Bedford Hospital. He had tested positive for COVID-19 on January 22nd and was fighting pneumonia. Over the last 5 years, he had been receiving treatment for prostate and skin cancer.
Captain Tom Moore has been an inspiration to everybody in this country during this pandemic, and I think our thoughts and our prayers are now with him and with his family.
Moore struck a chord with lockdown Britain by walking around his garden with the help of a walking frame to raise £38.9 million for the National Health Service. He was an amazing man with the biggest heart. We hope that the world will continue to spread the hope, joy and love that my father felt, and that we can make tomorrow a good day for each other. His endeavors spread joy amid the grim news of the coronavirus outbreak. Moore served in India, Burma and Sumatra during World War II.
Asylum seekers who had become a symbol of Trump-era immigration restrictions entered the United States from Mexico on Friday under a new policy intended to end the hardships endured by migrants in dangerous border towns. Some residents have lived there for more than a year under former President Donald Trump's controversial Migrant Protection Protocols program, which required asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for United States court hearings.
The people that crossed today were very happy. They were very anxious before about what would happen to them. But once they crossed, there was a sense of relief on their faces. They are very happy to cross into the United States and continue to process their cases in the United States. This is the first day for this initiative in Juarez. It has also started in Tijuana and Matamoros, and we're starting with smaller groups. The idea is that the number of groups will go up over time, and the only people eligible are those with open cases in the migrant protection protocols. President Biden, put your hand on your heart because we are waiting for an appointment with immigration officials. We've been here for more than a half a year. We are happy to see the first group of migrants go because we are here.
A new process under President Joe Biden will gradually allow thousands of MPP asylum seekers to await court's decisions within the United States. Last week, some migrants were permitted to cross into San Isidro, California. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.